Welcome to Thursday Aspirations, a time and space and place for teachers seeking a brighter future.
And thank you everybody for joining us today. As you remember, we meet every Thursday at 7 o'clock UK time. And our Thursday Aspirations chat is addressed, it is specifically created for teachers, because teachers are really experiencing very difficult time recently, and a lot of teachers are fed up with the stress of daily teaching. So a lot of us teachers, we are teachers, ex-teachers here, we obviously have dreams of a greater and better future for ourselves, for our families, and that future, that fantastic future, may lay outside teaching. And that's why we are chatting every Thursday about what you can do in order to secure that fantastic future. Now, today our chat is all about research. It's based on our midterm 7-step system of helping teachers to leave teaching. And I'll let Mary to take you through the whole process. Enjoy it.
Thank you. Last week, if you remember, we were considering enterprise, and Dorothy was talking about how she had chosen the enterprise that she wanted to do, which was property, but it wasn't the only thing that she considered. There were a number of possibilities that she explored and researched into, and one of these was being a seller on Amazon. And it was only when she had looked really quite carefully at that and then heard the story of some people for whom it didn't work out so well that she decided that property was probably more for her. But it was part of her research process, and it's that we are going to look at this week. What is involved in researching the area that you might develop as an enterprise. And this research process will continue all the way through your journey in this way, because you're always having to keep up to date with what's developing. So let's have a look then. We're considering the midterm system and the penultimate step, research, with its SIRE system, which we will look at in a bit more detail in just a moment. And this is the next to last aspect of it. So the first part of the SIRE system is social media, and you will certainly be aware how crucial social media is to all businesses these days, or virtually all businesses these days, and we will give a special session on that in due course. And also the use of the internet is crucial in being able to access material that will be vital for the business that you want to set up, or the extra stream of income that you want to develop. Today, we're going to be looking at the issue of recording information that you research. So how do you keep a record of what you do, and how do you do that efficiently? There's no point doing research if you don't have a record of what it is you've researched into. It's quite easy to forget when you've been skipping around the internet, as I like to do, and you come across various interesting things. You think, I'm sure to remember that, because that's, so obvious. And then even an hour or two later, you struggle to think what site you were on and what the link was and so on. So it's important not to get just carried away with the exploration aspect and the ooh wow aspect of looking for things, but to actually make a record of them and have the discipline of recording the specific links with enough explanation of what they're about that when you come and look at them maybe a year or 2 years later, and when it's crucial to remember what it was, that you can track them down quite effectively. So you need to keep records, but the point about keeping records is to have them in a way that is organized and systematic, particularly if you, like me, are a little bit disorganized. So to impose on yourself a system that actually works in terms of recording information. And we will have a tip about how to do this just a little bit later. Dorothy will suggest a couple of things to you that you might find very useful even at this stage. Establish the system early, decide on what you're going to do, explore the software that you might use. There are various software systems, but you can just start with a large notebook and make sure that as you are investigating various things that you might consider doing, that you keep a note on them, that you particularly keep a note of the links or the key names. And as they build up, you can highlight them with highlighters and attach sticky notes and so on to sticky tags to be able to access the bits that you want. But in due course, you'll probably move on to a software system of doing this. And which one you choose will depend somewhat on what computer system you use. The Mac has fantastic resources, and so do Windows PCs, but they don't always share them. So it depends on what system you're working with. And also if you're using a tablet, that may have something yet again. Almost every system you use has a note function, and very often those note functions can embed screen shares and so on. So there can be quite a useful way of capturing information if you use a notebook on whatever the main computer it is you use when you're actually exploring things. The key point is have a system, establish it early, and then use it. There's no point in having the best system in the world if you forget to use it. So establishing that discipline early will be really helpful for you. The final bit of the research process is enlisting help from other people, and we'll look at that as its own topic in due course, but it leads on quite nicely to the final part of the midterm system, which is finding a good mentor, and that's what we'll be considering next week. So, complete with tips in just a moment. I'll hand over to Dorothy.
Thank you, Mary. That was very, very informative. Right, the tip from me. So I would suggest start with deciding on what software. I would definitely suggest the software. What software you are going to use to record your research. And the tip from me, I'd like to recommend a piece of software which we were using, or actually still using, but definitely we started with that piece of software when we were doing our research. It's free. It's very easy to use, very intuitive to use. It allows you to use graphics and text and put links in and attach files. So it's very, very useful for the type of research you'll be doing when you are researching your future. That system is called Trello, and we absolutely love it. I think Mary is showing actually an example of how we've used it in our research in the past. So that would be one I would recommend very, very strongly. Hope you enjoyed our chat today. Please invite your friends, colleagues, whoever else you think our chat may be useful for. Remember, every Thursday, 7 o'clock UK time, join our conversations, put some comments, put some questions, and we will definitely answer them. And like us and follow us. And we look forward to seeing you next week. Good night.
See you next Thursday.